My name is Julia, and I believe that storytelling can foster inclusion and acceptance while creating a positive change. My story is unique in the United States, but all too common in other parts of the world where there are limited healthcare resources. I was born in Anxi, China, with a congenital disorder known as a bilateral cleft lip and palate, and abandoned when I was just a few days old. My birth parents were likely too poor to afford the medical care that I needed. I grew up in an orphanage for children with special needs for the first 3.5 years of my life until I was adopted by a loving family in the U.S. A donor sponsored my first cleft surgery in China, which closed the openings in my nose and lip so that I could receive proper nutrition. Without that surgery, I might still be living in the orphanage. Inspired by the opportunities and care that I received as a child, I started the Smile Project. I partnered with the nonprofit organization Love Without Boundaries to raise awareness and funds for cleft-affected children living in underserved communities. I sold candy, toys, and bracelets at sporting events and promoted my project on social media platforms. To date, I have sponsored the cleft repair surgeries of 7 children living in China and Cambodia who now have beautiful smiles. I am honored to have received a Congressional Hometown Hero Award in recognition of my work. It was difficult for me to share the details of my life with strangers. I used to be embarrassed of my appearance and speech, but through self-reflection and personal growth, I realized that my story could make a difference in a child's life, and it did. My future career path was born out of my life experience. I've had over 10 surgeries and spent countless hours in doctors' offices and hospitals growing up. I know what it's like to be scared and confused when faced with overwhelming circumstances. Nurses wiped my tears, listened to me ramble on about my fears, and figured out my needs when I couldn't speak. It is my mission to help children in similar circumstances. My goal is to become a pediatric nurse and eventually spend some time as a traveling nurse to heal and nurture children in underserved communities throughout the United States and the world. At Salve, Regina, I look forward to participating in classroom discussions and sharing my perspective on what it's like to be a patient. I hope to be able to participate in a study abroad program to learn more about global healthcare and gain first-hand experience in another culture. I am also interested in participating in the service plunge at Salve to volunteer in the local community around Newport because volunteering is an important part of my life. My parents are Caucasian, and my transgender sibling and I are both Chinese. We live in a primarily white community in a town surrounded by farms and cows in New Jersey. I have been asked, "Where are you from?" with the follow-up question, "No, where are you really from?" I have been asked, "What are you?" Wait, who is your real mother? Is your sister a boy? Initially, questions like this made me feel like I didn't belong and that our family was doing something wrong. My background has given me a different perspective than the majority of my peers and has allowed me to develop a sense of empathy. I was lucky enough to learn multiple points of view from my parents, my sibling, the Chinese American community, and my peers in the adoption community. At Salve Regina, I hope to join the multicultural student organization to help promote positive diversity relationships on campus and educate students and staff about other cultures and backgrounds. There are many social justice issues that have touched my life. I believe the best way to change a narrative is to tell a story. If you can change someone's opinion just a little bit, it can affect the way that a person looks at reality. As a future Ochre ambassador, I intend to build relationships with my peers and professors through stories. By sharing my stories and listening to stories of others, our community can make connections, learn from each other's experience, and open our minds and hearts. Everyone has a unique story. What's yours?